Hey, how are you? Welcome to my bench area. I just thought I would share a beginning process. You can call it a ritual, but it is something that we do before we begin building a new model. And as you can see, it is time for me to build yet another Bandai product, the Burning Gundam in Fuego. What I do every time I start a new kit, usually because the other kits have kind of chewed it up, and or in between kits I've let my family use my X-Acto for other crafting projects. So when I start a new kit, I like to put in a fresh blade. These are only double pack. Interesting. You know how we like multi-level packaging in this channel. I gotta tell you, I lost my really cheap pen, which came with a bunch of other stuff. That cheap pen blade holder that came with a bunch of other stuff in a kit, I still like it. This I'm getting used to. And I really don't like that this is the blade cap. It's very difficult to put on for anyone, let alone children or people with bad eyesight, both of which I sort of qualify for. Now, here's the last final bit I'm going to tell you, and this is the part I really sort of ask my family to do when they're changing a blade, is to take a little bit of tape. You can use Scotch tape if you want to, but I use this shipping tape, and I will put the entire blade on that sticky tape and then fold it over so the blade is protected. Okay? And then if you throw this away, there is far less chance that somebody is going to cut themselves if they're emptying your trash and they don't know that you just threw a blade in there. So be responsible with all of your knives. We joke about it here, but I'm serious. Keep the extra blades up out of reach. Mine are way up over here. Hard to reach for a kit. Just a little tip from the building bench. Let's do something else. This fan is blowing me back in my face. I smell awful right now. Put on a fresh shirt. Soldier on. Oh, boy. Actually, what I wanted you to see was none of that. Probably use it as outtakes. But anyway, what I got for you is over here. Yeah, okay. So maybe it's a cheaper figure, but I want to get her out of the package because, again, airspace. I can stand a character anywhere. I cannot stand a character in package taking up a tremendous amount of airspace unless the packaging is really, really, really important to the character or the car. I genuinely disrespect packaging all the time. So we're going to do that with this Scarlett character. I have not watched Snake Eyes yet. I do own it, but these characters are low price, and now I think you can find them in the clearance for about $7. So that's kind of also why I'm talking about these, is that I did see several from this series at a much lower price now. So you should go out and scorp them up if you enjoy these characters, because I think that they did a really good job. And I think just looking through the package, they did an okay job on Scarlett here. I don't think they got anything close to the actress who played Scarlett in Snake Eyes, and I have not seen the movie yet. Like I said, I do own it. I rarely give Annie any time to sit down and watch anything. I'm always working on stuff lately. Anyway, it's 4+ and it's made by Hasbro, so you know it's gonna be overpriced. I mean, good. Okay. Your package shot on the back, they have a really nice action shot of the figure. She comes with guns, knives, crossbows, and she can do the ninja strike. Okay. And here's all the other stuff about not putting things in your mouth, small pieces. So watch this stuff around your little brother or sister, please. Okay. And my hit packaging. It's a little bit like ASMR. If you're just joining us here on the old program, we do that a lot. We like to destroy the packaging so that you don't have to. If you're a person that's out there and is a in-package collector, I'm cool with that. I'm absolutely cool with that. Another warning sheet, little cardboard insert, little plastic tray. As Annie always hates, tray shot. Okay. I'm not going to jack a lot of time on this and act like this was a big purchase, because it's not. But I am going to assess her given on the fact that I do own several other Scarlett figures, and so I think I know a thing or two about the character. I didn't watch a ton of G.I. Joe growing up. I grew up in the 70s and stuff, so I was a stoner in high school by the time the Transformers were killing off Optimus. I'm gonna be really serious about that. And kids, I'm gonna say this, don't waste your time on substance abuse. Seriously, there's a lot better time to be using your time for. A lot better things. Like a Scarlett action figure. All right. Let's get this. Wow. Okay, so her gun is, let's start with that. Really nice. Little detailing, a little pin dot on the sight. That's kind of cool. Or they just missed painting it. You can affix her knives to the front end of this thing and make it look just insanely vicious. You can put both of them on there if you want to. I'm not going to want to, because that's yes, I enjoy it as a kid. And then there's the she can either use it as a bow, or dig this, it can be clipped here for her crossbow. Even that out a little bit. Even it out. Neat. Okay, weapons to the side. Let's look at the actual character here, because that's what is seriously important. And when they do these, my wife and I have been looking at wrestling figures lately, because they've really been upping their game on face scans. And I am not saying that on this level of action figure they should have done anything like that, but I guess the face looks pretty good. I feel like sometimes when they get a little too thick on the hair, that they tend to look a little silly. But that ponytail's really nice. Has a little bit of a wave and action to it. It doesn't get in the way when you're turning her head left or right. I am not going to turn her head all the way around. I find that to be morbid. I don't subscribe to doing the Pete Townsend with their arms, but I will tell you about the elbows on this are single joint, and there's a turn at the elbow, so there's no turn past the elbow, but the shoulder looks like it will at least go to 90 degrees like a normal shoulder, and yes, it will spin all the way around, I would imagine. The paint applications on the top here, a little bit sloppy, but again, for the price point of the character, I don't care about that. This is going to look good from a distance. Wow, I should have done something about my fingers. Sorry about the condition of my fingers, folks. But we have a full swivel at the waist because that's the way she does her kung fu action thing. Spring-loaded there, so you have to click her off to get her back to, standard. But that's neat. Definitely works well. I love the extra belting and banding around here. The detail on the armor is nice, but I would have loved to have seen just a little bit of detail on the bodysuit if you're going to do this in yellow. I don't know. It doesn't have to match a uniform in the movie, right? So they should have just gone for it. But at the knee, you have single jointed knee, but it looks natural when you've got it bent out, and no action at the ankle whatsoever. But you do have a turn at the knee, no cut at the thigh, and the kick ratio is pretty good. I don't think we're going to get too many wide stances out of her, but one of my favorite is the kneeling and shooting. The sort of just drop down into the position and getting the drop on people. What was that? I don't know if that made it on camera. That was very odd. Okay. My concentration is completely broken. Let's do something else. To give you a very, very brief movie review of a movie that my wife and I watched last night, and it was so good and free that I said, you know what, I really need to talk about this tomorrow. So the movie we're talking about right now is They Are Watching. We watched this on the Tubi app. You can download the app free and watch the content for free. There are commercial breaks, but for us older folks and stuff, gives you a chance to get up, stretch your knees, hit the toilet, whatever you need to do. It's a really great service because they don't cut out any of the content. They just add like about a minute or so of commercials. They're each about 15 seconds to 30 seconds long. Anyway, enough about the app. I want to talk about this movie. They're Watching. My wife and I, we sat down because when we were going to buy this house, we watched a lot of house rehab shows. We watched a lot of flip channels about house flipping so that we could educate ourselves on what we were looking at and what tricks people might try and all that other good stuff. So we're well versed in watching these programs about, home remodelers and stuff like that. And this starts out with it starts out with a nice little clap to your skull. It's fun. But then it sinks into how this camera crew got to, I forget it where it is, but it's like an Eastern Bloc country that just sort of opened its borders. And she's found this cute little house, this woman has, and she wants to rehab it. And then the crew comes back later on down the line after she has bought this place to see the changes that have been made, and they're all expecting that it's just a garbage place still. And they show up and she's actually done a beautiful job. This movie is a horror comedy, okay? So there are bits of extreme violence in this film. What I've described isn't the violence. I don't ever describe where, when, and how things happen in films. I don't like to spoil things that way. But I will tell you that this film, though it has a little bit of a build time in it. It's an hour and 37 minutes. It does not overstay its welcome ever. The characters are fun and funny and interesting to watch. Actually, there's a bit of acting in here where a guy talks about a traumatizing event in his life that Annie and I, after the scene, Annie and I had to stop the movie and talk about it for a minute because the guy did such an amazing job in a horror comedy of delivering some genuine revulsion, some genuine... I'm not going to ruin anything. I have shown a couple of stills here that you can find by Google, so I'm not showing you anything you couldn't just find like that. Like I said, when I appreciate a film, I like others to see it as I have. I just want them to know, from me, the guy who does What Is Wrong With You film reviews, this film has a wonderful, fun payoff, even if it's telegraphed, even if it's sort of, there are some things in the script that you'll sit there and go, God, this guy doesn't know film for shit. There are some things that are formulaic in here because they're setting you up. And that's all I'm going to say. There are some wonderful twists and turns in this film, and it's free. So if you're looking for something to do tonight, there you go. Be forewarned. This film is not for you and your kids, okay? Do not watch this with your children. It's not quite a What Is Wrong With You review film, but it's it touches. It's fun. You'll like it. My wife loved it. We had a really good time. Anyway, let's move on to something else.